Hey, Scott Hilton, Scott Talks. I'm going to review Snow White, the new live action version. Now, I know there's a lot of criticism about this poor little movie, and I thought it was all right. I thought it was a decent job. I thought they did a good job. I mean, Disney changed, people complain, oh, they changed the story, Well, they changed the story with Mulan, too. Think of it that way. Mulan had the witch show up that turned into the bird and all that. And it was still a good story. And they had the classic Disney songs. In this movie, I mean, Disney changed the original with naming the dwarves and giving them songs. And they primarily got, from the books and the Grimm tales. And changed. I think Snow White's actually older than the Grimm tales. I think she was a young girl. So things were changed, but we love the classic. That's why we want it to stay the same, and it is pretty much the same. It wasn't quite. She was going to be a boss, Snow White. It wasn't quite that bad, and the dwarves, were going to be magical creatures. Well, they were slightly magical. They had these marks on their hands that glowed, and they could find the jewels with it. So they were not human, because when they found her, they found a human. And they'd been working the mines for a couple hundred years. So, and they loved digging out those diamonds and jewels. And I was sitting there going, no, what's he gonna do? I think they just keep them. They just like them. But you do get some scenes with the mine ride. If you love the mine ride in Disney, they have that in the movie. So that's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up. So, and then the controversy of the original where, the prince, in our modern day, he doesn't have permission to kiss Snow White. I said, well, damn, the girl's dead. He just wanted to give her a kiss goodbye. But they solved that problem a bit with a song that they mentioned the fact they wanted this kiss to happen if something were to happen to them. So there it is. There's the answer in the movie. And it's not that bad a movie. The Internet Movie Database gives it like a 1 point something out of 10. And you're like, wow. Rotten Tomatoes was about a 40, but the tomato meter, but the popcorn meter was like 70. That's where I give it, 60, 70. It was not bad. The new songs kind of pushed the story along, but they weren't great. You don't remember them. They occasionally jump back into a Disney classic or two, and a little Easter egg for you. Before the witch arrives, Snow White starts to hum, and it sounds just like Someday Your Prince Will Come. And then the door, knock, knock, knock. And my wife, we had to rewind it 2 or 3 times. My wife was like, no, it isn't. Well, maybe it is. Yeah, that is Someday My Prince Will Come. She does give it just a touch. But I love the whole time I watched it, I was like, they look so CG. They don't look real, but they're not supposed to be. I think kids will love it. I think they'll still, and it's interesting. If they watch this and they've never seen the classic, then you do a turnaround and let them watch the classic and see what they think and see what their opinion is. Well, why didn't Snow White do this? And you're like, oh my gosh, suddenly they love the new version over the classic. It's like a James Bond. People have their James Bond. This is the Bond I grew up with. Mine was Roger Moore. A lot of people, even older than me, would have said Sean Connery. Younger than me, Pierce Brosnan probably. And everyone has or Daniel Craig now, if they're really younger, is going to be their Bond. Maybe a few Timothy Dalton fans out there, But it's interesting. We saw Star Trek, the movie, J.J. Abrams' version, and my daughter she was like, oh, that was really good, because she was not into Star Trek. She knew Dad loved Star Trek and not into Star Trek, but we took to the movie IMAX and saw it, and she came out going, wow, that was really good. So we made her watch Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the best Star Trek movie with the original cast. And she watched it reluctantly, looked at her phone a lot. But she came out of it going, wow, they really got those characters right in that movie, because she realized that the actors had done such a great job bringing those characters to life from the original show. And that was her opinion of it. And she still liked the movie better. But she was impressed with how the actors recreated that. And in this, that's the thing to look at. It's the Mulan telling of Snow White. It's not the magical creatures. They have that weird little power in their hands that help them find the diamonds that they just keep. And there are tons of them, but it's just, they had to have tons because that's what's in the ride at Disney. So you had to have all those, you had to have those scenes with them riding those coaster rides in and out of their minds. That was neat. And they had some of the dwarf songs and different things like that, but mostly the new songs they're all right. And, Gal Gadot's singing, someone commented that they'd never laughed at someone singing before, and they openly laughed at her song. And I thought it wasn't that comical. It was more like Ursula in The Little Mermaid. She was really over the top, just really la la la. I'm going to do this and that, and da da da. And you're like, yeah, it's like her. She's doing an animated Ursula song, is what it was. And it wasn't that bad. I would say it's free on Disney Plus. It's Snow White, and it's not the Snow White from the classics. I mean, you could argue that, but the fact that, and they changed the Wizard of Oz a little bit. If some of you have seen the trailer for Wicked for Good, the sequel, and when they see Dorothy's shoes, they're silver. Well, in the original book, they're silver. They're not the ruby red slippers. They're silver slippers. So that's why you're seeing silver. And I think there were some copyright problems with copying things like the Yellow Brick Road. You couldn't mention it. They showed the Yellow Brick Road, but they didn't say the words Yellow Brick Road. So ruby slippers are they're supposed to be silver, and you're probably getting silver in this sequel. So get used to that. Say, where are the ruby red slippers? Well, they're going to get sued if they use that, because that was not in the book. That was a movie thing. And so it's fine. Snow White's fine. Okay? She's not that bad. I thought, though, this scene where she was giving them stuff to clean the house, to clean it up, she helped clean the house. Someone complained that she was bossing them around, making them clean the house. They were cleaning the house. Everyone worked, whistle while you work. They did that. So it's not bad. Enjoy it. And if any of the kids, it's the first time seeing Snow White, show them the classic and see what they say. They might love this better than the classic. And they'll have questions. Why did they do this? Why would they do that? And you're like, oh my gosh. Wow, that's the coolest reaction. I think you should check. Okay? So it's not that bad. And all that politics stuff, get rid of that. Just ignore that. But just sit back and enjoy. Get some popcorn and just sit back and enjoy those moments. And if your kids have rode the mine train, that's good too.